What's up, everybody? The Bird Killer here. We're gonna do something different. I'm going to start a new thing where I'm going to predict each week before the week starts of NFL games. Now, I already missed Thursday Night Football, the Texans at the Chiefs. I would have taken the Chiefs, but um, since I didn't pick that game, I'm going to take a loss on that one. Up next, we're looking at Seattle against the Falcons. Um, Seattle, as far as injuries, they have Dorsett is questionable. Not any real big names hurt for them. And the same can be said for the Atlanta Falcons. So when you look at this game, you have to think um, Seattle's offensive line is terrible. Russell Wilson is a football god, though. That guy is one of the best to ever play the game. Um, their defense has gotten worse. Their defensive line isn't going to create a whole lot of pressure. They do have a very solid linebacking core. As far as their defensive backs, you can't tell me that Jamal Adams now makes this group the Legion of Boom 2. I just don't. I'm not into it. Atlanta Falcons, they have an explosive offense already. They did get Rams ex-Ram running back Todd Gurley, who has injury problems. Um, so we'll have to see where that goes. But even without Todd Gurley, the Atlanta Falcons just have a great offense. They have um, arguably the best wide receiver in the game, Julio Jones. That guy is absolutely insane. Matt Ryan is a proven quarterback. Um, they have a decent offensive line. Their offensive line going against their defensive line is just, I'm going with the Falcons as far as not getting pressure. I also think their wide receivers are just better than the Seattle's defensive backs. Jamal Adams is good. Um, he's great. He's a Pro Bowl player. I really um, like Jamal Adams, and I think he was a great pickup for the Seattle Seahawks. I just don't think it's enough to make that defense outside their linebacking core with Bobby Wagner, who's the best middle linebacker in football. I just don't think it does enough. The Falcons have Takk McKinley, Dante Fowler, um, Grady Jarrett. They're going to be getting at Russell Wilson. So in this game, I think Seattle traveling to Atlanta, I'm going to take the Falcons. I think Matt Ryan, Julio Jones has a big game. I don't see Todd Gurley having a huge game. He might get a touchdown, but I just don't see Seattle's defensive backs being able to cover, or not necessarily cover. I just don't think Jamal Adams is going to be able to do enough to keep Atlanta at bay with Ridley, Julio, and Hayden Hurst. So I think the Falcons win this game. Up next, you have the Philadelphia Eagles going to Washington to take on the Washington football team. Injuries for the Washington football team, you have Fuller, who's doubtful. Thomas Davis, he's out. Reuben Foster's out. But for the Eagles, you have Miles Sanders, who is out. Alshon Jeffrey out. Lane Johnson is questionable. Derek Barnett is out. Javon Hargrave is out. The Eagles aren't the same team that they were a while back when they won the Super Bowl. Carson Wentz is a great quarterback, but I just don't think they're going to be as good as they have been in the past. But I don't think Washington has enough. Washington has arguably the best defensive line with Jonathan Allen, Chase Young, Ryan Kerrigan. I mean, they're just stacked on the defensive side of the ball. But opening weekend, even with the Eagles and all their injuries, I don't have enough faith in Dwayne Haskins or McKissick. Terry McLaurin, I think he's great. Um, I just don't think they have enough at this point to get a win over the Philadelphia Eagles, even though the Philadelphia Eagles are injured all over the place. So yeah, in this one, I just can't see the Eagles not winning this game. I think it'll be competitive. I think it'll be close just because of that Washington defensive line is going to give Carson Wentz a lot of problems. The Eagles are going to have problems running the football, I think, without Miles Sanders. I expect Zach Ertz to have a huge game. Same thing with Dallas Goedert. With all the injuries to the Philadelphia Eagles offense, wide receivers, Jalen Reagor's may not play. We'll have to see, but outside of Deshaun Jackson, I see the two tight ends having really big games, and I see the Philadelphia Eagles beating the Washington football team in a close game. Up next, we have the Miami Dolphins traveling to the New England Patriots. This is an interesting game. The Dolphins have improved. Their defense has improved immensely. They have a great backfield. Byron Jones was a really big pickup for them. Patriots have had a lot of players opting out, but they still have one of the best defensive backfields in the game with the McCourty brothers, Stephon Gilmore. They're just great. As far as defensive line, though, they don't have a whole lot of people to put pressure. But their linebackers is also pretty weak. Dante Hightower is not playing. Dolphins. Neither of these guys have a whole lot of injuries going into this game. Marquise Lee is out, but it's a division game. They're always close. Cam Newton. What are we going to see from Cam Newton? Are we going to see the Cam Newton who won the MVP, or are we going to see the Cam Newton that we've been seeing as of late, who's just not very good? I'm not a huge fan of Cam Newton. He doesn't have Christian McCaffrey anymore, but he does have a back somewhat like him in Deion Lewis, so I can see that working out pretty well. Julian Edelman across the middle. Hopefully they put him in the slot a lot. I'm not a big Patriot fan, but the Dolphins are up and coming. But Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's a run and gun type of guy, and he's going to try to win this with his arm when they should use Jordan Howard and Breida. I think the Patriots are going to be really weak against the run. That's my personal opinion. And the Dolphins have two pretty decent running backs. With all that said, though, with Bill Belichick, I just can't go against Bill Belichick. I think the Patriots get a win. They do enough to get a win. It'll be a close game, but they get a win in week 1. Next game is also a pretty intriguing game. You have the Green Bay Packers going to Minnesota to take on the Minnesota Vikings. Neither team have a whole lot of injuries coming into the game. Packers did lose Brian Bulaga, but the Vikings have lost a lot of players. They lost Xavier Rhodes. They lost Trey Waynes, Everson Griffin. Daniil Hunter is not going to play in this game. Their defensive backfield's weak. I don't think the Vikings that we're used to, the defensive powerhouse, is going to be there. But on the other side, the Green Bay Packers defense is going to be really, really good. They have really good pass rush and Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, Kenny Clark. They have good backfield and Yair Alexander, Kevin King. They have a lot of talent in Green Bay on the defensive side of the ball. I would have liked the Green Bay Packers to pick up somebody to help Aaron Rodgers. We're seeing like a Brett Favre type thing. They picked up the quarterback of the future. So this is interesting. But going into the week, I think the Minnesota Vikings have lost too much on defense. The Packers defense is really strong, and the Vikings also lost Stephon Diggs. Will Jefferson be able to produce like Diggs? I personally don't think so. I think that's going to also hurt Adam Thielen, because now there's not that second guy. So right here, I go with the away team. Up next, we have the Colts traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. I think this is a no-brainer. I think Phillip Rivers and the Colts are going to just dismantle Minshew and the Jaguars. I'm personally a big fan of Gardner Minshew, but I just can't see how the Jaguars pull this out. Their running back situation is a problem now that they've gotten rid of Fournette. Their defense isn't the same. They got rid of AJ Boye. They've got rid of a lot of really good players, and the Colts have added a lot of really good players. Phillip Rivers is going to be playing behind the best offensive line he has ever played with, and he's got some pretty good weapons. And the Colts running back situation, that's a good situation to have when you have a rookie who's going to potentially replace a guy like Marlon Mack, who is a solid running back in this league. I see the Colts going up big and the Jaguars just having to try to play catch up the whole time. I think Minshew's going to make his own plays, but definitely think the Colts are going to win this, and I think it's going to be a pretty decisive win in this game for Phillip Rivers in his debut as a Colt. Up next, we have the Chicago Bears going into Detroit to take on the Lions. Khalil Mack is questionable. Robert Quinn is out. Jermaine Ifedi is questionable. David Montgomery is doubtful. But for the Lions, you have Kenny Golladay, who's doubtful. Geronimo Allison, who came from the Green Bay Packers, he's out. Danny Amendola is questionable. So the Lions are hurting, and so are the Bears. The Bears' defense is... Both of these defenses, I think, are going to play at a high level, mid to high level. I don't think they're going to be, one of the best in the league, but I think both of them are going to play pretty well. Lions have a better offense. Mitch Trubisky is not a quarterback that I believe in. He can run. He has those games where he throws 7 touchdowns and looks like he belongs in the NFL, but then every other week he just looks terrible. Matthew Stafford is a proven veteran in the NFL, and he's a great quarterback. He doesn't get the props that I think he deserves. I think the game is going. It's a division game, so these are hard to guess, especially since we haven't had a preseason. It's just week 1 is always the hardest to see what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to show up, who's going to be the team that was unknown that comes in and just shows up. In this game, though, it's a tough one for me. It's a toss-up. I can go either way. I think the Bears' defense is amazing. I don't like the fact that Robert Quinn's already hurt. I think Chicago's offensive line is not very good. Their running back situation is also not very good. Tariq Cohen is a splashy player. He reminds me a lot of like a Tavon Austin. He can blow up one game, but then he can be just completely irrelevant other games. So I struggled with this one on who I thought is going to win. it's just a tough game, division game. Both teams, you don't know where they are, um, especially with the injuries to the wide receiving core for the Lions. That makes this pick that much harder. Now they're gonna have to rely on Marvin Jones and T.J. Hawkinson more. Um, so, like I said, this is a tough one, but I am going to go with the Detroit Lions to get a win. Up next, we have the Cleveland Browns traveling to the Baltimore Ravens. This is a game that it's a division game. Division games are hard to guess. Even as impressive as the Baltimore Ravens were last year, I believe Cleveland beat them in Baltimore last year. Cleveland has potential. They've got a lot of really good weapons on offense. They have Odell, they have Jarvis Landry, they have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Now at tight end they have Austin Hooper. They got Austin Hooper. Now the Ravens defense took a hit when they lost Earl Thomas. But they still have arguably the best tandem at cornerback with Marcus Peters and Humphrey. And the Ravens are always solid on defense. They got Calais Campbell. And their offense, the Browns defense, I don't see them being able to stop the Ravens in this game. I think the Ravens are going to. It'll be close at first, but I think the Ravens will start pulling away and eventually get the win at home to open the season. I think both running backs are going to have big games in this game. I think Nick Chubb will have a big game, and I think Mark Ingram will have a big game. Lamar Jackson obviously is going to have a big game running the ball. I still am iffy on him as a quarterback, as a throwing quarterback. He had a great season last year, but there's always those flash in the pan guys. But in this game, got to go Baltimore Ravens with the win. Up next, you have the New York Jets traveling to take on the Buffalo Bills. Avery Williamson is out. Marcus May is questionable, and C.J. Mosley's out for the Jets. Jets look like they could have been something as far as defense, but they're just losing people left and right. Offensively, Sam Darnold, I really like the guy. I just don't think that he has enough around him. His wide receiving core is shaky. Le'Veon Bell and Gase don't see eye to eye. I could see Le'Veon, I could see that pairing going sideways real quick. And also, I think the Buffalo Bills have one of the strongest defenses in the league. Offensively, for the Buffalo Bills, though, I think they're average at best. Josh Allen he's got a cannon on him. Don't get me wrong, and I like the guy, but can he produce the way? Can his team win with him being as inaccurate as he is? I don't think long term that's going to work out for the Bills. I don't think they have a good running game. Their wide receiving core is not very strong, but their defense is going to win them a lot of games this year. And I think their defense comes in here and wins them this game as well. I think this will be a struggle for both offenses. It'll be a low-scoring game, I think, and I think the Bills get a big win at home to start off the year. The next game, we have the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Carolina Panthers. This is another interesting game. The Las Vegas Raiders, they've got some things going for them. Josh Jacobs is a good running back. I like Derek Carr. Personally, I like him as a person. I don't like the fact that he wears makeup. His guy liner's got to go. I personally hate the Raiders. Um, Close to the 49ers, they're my least favorite team. Um, but I'm going to try not to be biased in this. Um, but the Raiders have improved. They've improved. Their defense is what's going to be a little bit shaky, but Corey Littleton was a huge pickup for him. I expect them to be better defensively this year. Offensively, I also expect them to be better. Darren Waller is going to be great, as he always is. I think Ruggs is going to be a good addition. Um, Derek Carr has been put oh, in a position to win. The Panthers, on the other hand, um, I don't like Teddy Bridgewater. I didn't like him when he was in Minnesota. I know he played well when he was in New Orleans last year. Um, cool, that's awesome. New Orleans is easily the best team overall. Um, I can't see the Carolina Panthers getting a win here just because their defense is just atrocious. Um, I think the Raiders are going to be able to get in there and get a win. Up next, we have the Chargers going on the road to take on the Bengals. Chargers have a really, really good defense. Offensively, they have pieces there. They have Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry. They've got a really good team overall. But what hurts them is quarterback. Tyrod Taylor starting. Tyrod Taylor has never been a good quarterback in my eyes. Justin Herbert, I think they would have been better off going with him. But there's a lot of injuries here for them, especially on the offensive line. You have Mike Pouncey, he's out. Trey Turner, he's questionable. Brian Bulaga is questionable. Derwin James is out. But on the defensive side of the ball, the Chargers have Joey Bosa, Ingram coming on the edges. They have Harris Jr. and Hayward Jr. playing at cornerback, another top-tier defensive back. And the Bengals, Joe Burrow, that guy has potential to be a superstar in this league. And he's got a lot of weapons to throw to. He's got Tyler Boyd, A.J. Green. They did get rid of Eifert, but John Ross, Joe Mixon, Giovanni Bernard, they have a lot of weapons on offense. Their defense, though, is not it's not very good. So this is a tough decision. You've got a good offense with a quarterback that can be a superstar for the Bengals. They have weapons all over the field. And then a good offense with weapons all over the field for the Chargers, but they have a terrible quarterback. Defensively, the Chargers are stacked. Like I said, they have really Derwin James being out doesn't kill their season. What kills their season is Tyrod Taylor as their quarterback. Chris Harris Jr. and Hayward Jr. as their cornerbacks. That is something not to mess with. So I struggled with this one just because it's gonna be tough to see what we're gonna see from Burrow. This is gonna be a very tough challenge for his first game, but in the end, I'm going to give the win to the Chargers. Dang, this is just a tough choice. Sorry for my phone going off. So I give the win. I'm actually going to go with the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow is going to be under a lot of pressure against the Chargers, but I just don't believe in Tyrod Taylor. Up next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going on the road to take on the New Orleans Saints. This is going to be a really good game. I think this is the game of the week, easily. You have Tom Brady, the GOAT, taking on Drew Brees, the closest to the GOAT as you can get. He's up there with Manning. two of the best quarterbacks to ever play. Well, one is the best, and then the Saints, Drew Brees, he is one of the best to ever play. He's right up there with Manning. Um, so yeah, he's above Manning, actually. He's probably the second best quarterback to ever do it. Injuries here, you have quite a bit of concern for the Saints defense, which I didn't think was very strong in the first place, but you have Kiko Alonso's out, Noah Spence is out, you have Marcus Davenport not playing. The Buccaneers have improved everywhere. Their defense is stout. Levante David's going to be a beast, as he always is. White's going to be really good. Shaquille Barrett, hopefully he can repeat what he did last year. Ndamukong Suh's he's still there. And they got that rookie Winfield Jr. I think the Bucs defense is going to surprise a lot of people this year. Offensively, you have the GOAT. You have Mike Evans. You have Chris Godwin. You have O.J. Howard, Rob Gronkowski. They just picked up Leonard Fournette. They have weapons all over the field. Saints, same thing. Drew Brees now has another weapon in Emmanuel Sanders. Is that guy ever going to not have 10 million weapons at his disposal? The guy's good enough. Stop giving him weapons. With me, though, I'm going to give an upset win for the Buccaneers. I think the GOAT's going to be able to pull it out. It'll be a good game, though. Up next, we have the Arizona Cardinals traveling to the San Francisco 49ers. This is an interesting game because it is division. The Cardinals have improved, and the 49ers have not. The 49ers lost Matt Breida. Deebo Samuel's going to be out of this game. Basically, every wide receiver that they have is out of this game. Even their rookie, Ayuk, is questionable for this game. George Kittle is basically what they have. And Jimmy Garoppolo, as many games as the 49ers won last year, it's because of that defense. He is a pro at handing that ball off, though. But Raheem Mostert wanted to leave the Niners. I don't know what kind of situation that's going to be. The Cardinals, on the other hand, I'm not a huge believer in Kyler Murray. Gardner Minshew put up bigger stats than Kyler Murray did, but yet everybody's talking about Kyler Murray as the next superstar of the league. He's the next Patrick Mahomes. He's the next Lamar Jackson. I just did not see that in him. But he now has DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk, Kenyon Drake. They have a really good offense. Offensive line is shaky. 49ers, same thing. Is Trent Williams going to be at the same Pro Bowl level that he was in Washington? We'll have to wait and see. This was a tough decision for me, but I couldn't give this to the Cardinals just because of the 49ers defensive line. Up next, we have the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. I am a huge Ram fan. I am biased. I am not going to deny that. I think the Rams are going to go 16-0. Just kidding. I think the Rams have some question marks. I honestly do. But I also think Dallas Cowboys do. Every year, we go into the year hearing about how the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. They did this, they did that, whatever. But the Cowboys have some serious questions going into this game. Sean Lee's out. Their defensive backfield is not good. They got rid of Clinton Dix. Jordan Lewis is hurt. Sean Lee's hurt. They had Gerald McCoy, but now he's out. Dontari Poe is there, but he didn't play well in Carolina. So I don't think the Cowboys' defense is as good as people are going to. I don't think they're going to play at the level that people expect. Their offense, on the other hand, is explosive. They're going to score points. But I think the Rams defensively are more prepared to handle that, especially with the Cowboys' offensive line. They had four absolute studs. Travis Frederick is gone, and La'el Collins is hurt. Tyron Smith, he hasn't been the same for a while. He is not the same Pro Bowl amazing player that he always has been. He's injury prone. When he's out there, he's getting beat. The Rams have Leonard Floyd, Samson Ebukam. You know, if the Cowboys run the ball, I can see the Rams being in a little bit of trouble. But the Rams defensively are in a better position to cover the wide receiving core of the Cowboys with CeeDee Lamb, Gallup and Amari Cooper. We have Jalen Ramsey, John Johnson III. I think the Rams are able to come in here and get a win on opening night against the Cowboys. I think it'll be a close game. Zeke's going to feed. We have weak linebackers. I think Zeke, if the Cowboys run and continue to run, I think they can win. Up next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to New York to take on the Giants. Devin DeCastro is out. Golden Tate's questionable. Do we really even have to discuss this game? You have Big Ben coming back healthy. Juju Smith is going to have a big year. James Conner is going to have a good year. The Giants, Daniel Jones, as much as I like Daniel Jones, I'm just going to flat out and say he is not going to take the Giants to the playoffs. He just doesn't have it. Saquon Barkley is going to have problems. Steelers have one of the best defenses in the league. And the Giants just don't have enough. They don't have enough firepower on offense to compete with the Steelers. They don't have enough firepower on the defense to compete with the Steelers. I think this is going to be a huge blowout win for the Steelers. I think they easily get the win. I expect Big Ben to throw over 100. Throw over 300. I expect Connor to run over 100. I think it's going to be a huge blowout win. Up next, we have the Tennessee Titans traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos. You have some injuries here. You have Beasley out. Adoree Jackson's out. Corey Davis is questionable. But on the other side for the Broncos, Sutton's questionable. You have Hamler's questionable. Von Miller's out. Mark Barron is out. They lost Chris Harris Jr. The Broncos, but they did get A.J. Boye, and they were able to steal the Jarrell Casey from the Titans. I don't think Ryan Tannehill is a Pro Bowl quarterback. That's my opinion. He played great last year, and I'm happy for him. He got out of Miami and had a good year. I think Derrick Henry is the real deal. He is a absolute beast. He's a monster. I expect him to have a big game against the Broncos. Broncos, Drew Lock. I just don't know. There's not enough. I just don't have enough on him to really have an opinion. If I were gonna say opinion on him, I think he's mediocre at best. He's like a Ryan Tannehill. He's not terrible. He's gonna have his good games. He's gonna have bad games. This is a difficult one because I think the Titans aren't gonna repeat what they did last year. I don't think they're gonna win the division. I think that's gonna go to the Colts. Depend upon injuries and stuff like that. You never know. But I don't see them going to the AFC Championship game. That's for sure. Broncos, I think they're at the bottom of their division. I think the Chiefs are better. I think the Oakland Raiders are now better. I don't see the Broncos as a contender. With this one, I had a little bit of trouble picking a winner. But in the end, I'm going to go with the Titans. And that's my week 1 predictions. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe, kaboobow that like button and notification bell. And I'll see you next Sunday. The Bird Killer out.